Hello, class. Now, before we return to Swinburne, we do have to go to Wordsworth. Now, Wordsworth obviously was born before Swinburne. It was a joke that Swinburne influenced Wordsworth that was unfortunately put forward by a Penguin book in an introduction. And Shelley, Wordsworth and Shelley, they obviously came before, so there's something going wrong with the introduction to a Penguin book that I will tell you about and add a note to this to tell you about. Anyway, the thing that maybe some people don't realise about Wordsworth is that he was in fact a diplomat. His job, partly, I don't know who he might have been commissioned by, but part of his job was to try and stop the English breaking out into revolution. The French had broken out into revolution, and it was Wordsworth's job to stop that happening by his peace-weaving poetry. Now, I know that may disenchant some of you who are big Wordsworth fans, and I am a big Wordsworth fan, and I do like Wordsworth, and that is not to rule out the mystical elements and the pagan elements and the spiritual elements and the moral elements and we will return to that later. And partly with Swinburne, we will return to that later as well. But first of all, if we look at Wordsworth's poem composed upon Westminster Bridge, lines composed upon Westminster Bridge, which was written, I believe, on September the 3rd, 1802. You may begin to see what I mean. It's more complicated than that because the prelude, these lines do fit in with the prelude. We have the agricultural revolution going on in the time when Wordsworth was writing, the Industrial Revolution, and of course the French Revolution. So they were very turbulent times. Now I'll read the poem composed upon Westminster Bridge. Earth has not anything to show more fair. Dull would he be of soul who could pass by a sight so touching in its majesty. This city now doth like a garment wear the beauty of the morning, silent, bare. Ships, towers, domes, theatres, and temples lie open unto fields and to the sky, all bright and glittering in the smokeless air. Never did sun more beautifully sleep in his first splendour, valley, rock, or hill. Ne'er saw I, never felt a calm so deep. The river glideth at his own sweet will. Dear God, the very houses seem asleep, and all that mighty heart is lying still. Now, all that mighty heart is lying still, that may be a sense of relief in Wordsworth that he's managed to do his job. Now, Wordsworth is always presented as a revolutionary in some respects. When you're at school, you're taught Wordsworth and Coleridge's lyrical ballads. But yes, there are more aspects to this poem than that. But there's also a lament there. We see pass by, we see silent bare. Even the calm so deep, does he mean a deep calm, or does he mean deep in the earth? I will go on to analyse that poem more and relate it to the work of Swinburne later. But that is an important thing that we ought to consider about William Wordsworth.